floor. So I just pick and choose, man. Hey, 2 points is 2 points. I get it done. That's all that matters. And I think he's specifically referring to this play against the Lakers when he went up to catch an alley-oop, got kind of taken out. I don't think it was a dirty play per se, but he missed games with a hip injury. So I'm all for this. People are going to push back against it. Dunking is over, guys. Layups, yeah, layups are the new thing. It's part of growing up. It's part of getting older. You think like, hey, this restaurant's cool, right? No. Hey, this tight jeans are cool, right? No. You got to get rid of the stuff that was cool a while ago. Get on the new stuff that's cool. Layups are cool. He did those 360 layups against the Nets. Cool. Who's the most exciting player to watch? I don't know, Kyrie. All he does is lay the ball up. Every once in a while, he'll sprinkle in a dunk. Pretty plain. But the layups are what you buy a ticket for. Iceman George Gervin. Hello, vintage layups. E-Jazz on Instagram. Layups are the new thing. I spent a lot of time in my driveway wasting hours trying to dunk. I could have just been focusing on the layups that I was already good at. I saved myself a lot of time and energy, Greg. I can tell you that. Layups, finger rolls.
John, look, if he's obviously on many of those dunk attempts, he could have got hurt. So I agree with him on that. Just be careful. But you're only 25. You are one of the most. He is the most exciting player in the league.
Recklessly dunking.
Well,
so he's
if
like,
you
I
want to be
all the way out.
But there is, look,
if the NBA,
part of Michael Jordan's lore is that he was dunking on people all left and right.
If somebody had been like, hey, a spy had come in and been like, I've got a 3-part plan to ruin the NBA. Part 1, the best players stop playing and give you no notice. Part 2, we're just going to shoot 40-footers and say we quit on the All-Star game. Part 3, our best athletes are going to publicly declare I'm done dunking.
Well,
you'd be like, well, you've done it. Like, no.
He gets hurt.
Figure out how to dunk without getting hurt.
No, he can't.
No.
He jumps too high.
Brew, you agree with me.
I agree.
This is not good.
Layup. Tell about the Iceman George Gervin.
You know when Iceman George Gervin was in his heyday, the league was on tape delay.
Not his fault.
Well, and he also was finger rolling from 10 feet.
You go to see those dunks.
Yes.
Not me.
Yeah, you.
Kyrie, you leave a game after
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
That's the best handle in the history of the
John
league.
weighs 175 pounds. Yes, he can. He chooses not to.
Okay. Let's talk about this. I'm actually happy that they did this. They're not really having a real conversation about it. They're kind of just using this at the tail end to just kind of, add some banter. But I actually want to make a video. I wanted to make a video of this when I read this. I actually read this originally like in an article. And so I remember Colin years ago when Ja was kind of, on the uprise. He talked about this. He said, Ja Morant is one of these smaller guys. He can get hurt. It's physical. These players don't age well, and it's a problem. And I'm pretty sure he, on whatever social media platform, Ja Morant now just wrote like, oh, Colin, or something like that, or LOL Colin, right? It was kind of like a whole discussion. And now, years later, Ja Morant is essentially saying that he was right. I wish I could find that clip again. I just don't have the energy to like go hunting for that type of stuff. But I'm gonna be confident that you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys watch all these shows, and he was right. And again, as someone, for me, who I've been injured so many times that I've now I've talked about this a lot. I've been injured so much, so I'm always sympathetic to that and always hyper aware of how these bodies get injured. So Ja Morant is protecting himself. He has to do it. He does. I understand people are saying that these dunks are exciting. You know what's exciting? Watching Ja Morant just ball out and play great, put up points, handle the ball, lead his team to the playoff wins. It's not the dunks themselves. Steph Curry doesn't dunk. He's wildly exciting. Like, I get some dunks can be ferocious and exciting, but you know what? A lot of dunks are actually kind of boring. And they don't matter to me. Honestly, because a lot of times you see a big dunk and then they stop and they look into the crowd and they scream or whatever, and that actually now slows the game. I like speed. I like quickness. So make that layup and then quickly run back and get back on defense. Like, I love that type of stuff. So many dunks in the NBA are honestly kind of like gimme dunks and boring. I don't care. I don't care about a windmill dunk when you're wide open. Yeah, some of the dunks over people and stuff like that are fun, but I always hate it because it's like, oh, he posterized them. Like being dunked on is an insult. It's like, no, it's not basketball, man. If you're actually playing real defense, you're going to get shot on and dunked on very regularly, even if you're the greatest defender of all time. So this whole idea that even culturally it became like kind of like now where players don't even want to try to contest a dunk or a big shot because like they're afraid that it's going to be posterized. Like that's actually that's worse for basketball than saying players are trying to like not get hurt. And I believe that. I firmly believe that. So I totally defend Ja Morant here. I got more muscle than Ja Morant, and I'm not an elite NBA player. So the dude's got to take care of himself. He's got to take care of himself. Just go ask Allen Iverson, man. So, and I also think it's pretty cool that he said it out loud, too. Because he didn't have to. He could have kind of just kept it to himself. Or he could have kind of twisted a little bit where he's just like, hey, I'm trying to, change up my game, trying to become more efficient or something, if someone like asked him. So I think it's pretty cool. And this reminds me of the one clip that I referenced on my, football channel, JWL Sports, talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have this video saved on my phone, bookmarked, where, he caught the ball, a big wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, and he goes down, not like injured, like he just kind of like, goes down and rather than kind of like take a big hit, and he goes, out of bounds, and his one coach is like, are you hurt? And he's like, no. And they're kind of like, well, why did you just kind of go down? And he's like, I'm not, I'm sick of being injured. I'm not going to fight for, an extra yard or whatever and get injured, dumb. And he goes, I don't care how it looks. And now he's like talking to another teammate. He goes, I don't care how it looks. I don't care. I'm sick of being hurt. I'm sick of being hurt. And he's not hurting his team because it's like, it's not like he's going down and there's nowhere else for him to go. Like, or that he could have like went off for another 5-10 yards or whatever. Like that's not the situation. And then later in the game, he now like catches a touchdown and goes in and does fight for it and gets it. And he starts screaming, I am built for this. I am built for this. And it's like, it's smart. It really is. I cringe when I watch football games and I see these players taking an extra hit, especially when they're right on the sideline and they kind of like lean down and they try to like fight for like, and you're fighting for literally like not even a yard. You're not even getting a yard. It's not like there's potential that they're going to be able to go through the defender and now rip off another 15, 20 yards and get a touchdown. I'm not saying that, but you see so many of these players take unnecessary hits. And as someone, again, who's been injured so many times, you only have so much of that in you. And you know what? People who have actually been injured know that it actually is awful. When we watch these players get injured and need surgery and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, you get surgery, you're out for a few weeks or 8 weeks, then you're back at it, and there you go. That's not the way this goes. As multiple orthopedic surgeons have told me, we are not machines. We don't just replace a screw and put it back in there and there you go. Like, it is an art and a science. You never know how you're going to respond. There's no such thing as non-invasive surgery. It's all real. They are cutting you open. There is no such thing as minimal surgery. Like they are putting you under and cutting you open, and it is the real deal. No matter what it is, no matter how routine it is. And that's why I love Travis Kelce's quote where he's like, I've had, 10 plus surgeries over my career, and not a day goes by that I don't feel every single one. And that is my exact experience with all my injuries as well. And again, I am not an elite athlete playing at the pro level. And these guys have truly the best genetics to actually heal their bodies. So much of being a professional athlete, what people don't realize, is actually just the ability to endure what it takes to be a professional athlete, like your body. There are plenty of people who are more talented than what we see in the NBA, in the NFL, Major League Baseball, but their body was unable to maintain the burden that was placed with a pro schedule. Joel Embiid is a great example. His body is probably not built for the NBA. That's why he's constantly getting injured. We say injury prone. That's another way to kind of put it. But there's other players that can't even make it that far because their body just cannot endure it. When they get hit, they can't bounce back up. And Ja Morant's recognizing, like, I'm getting banged up. I am only 25. And then Bruce like, he's only 25. He can't do that. Yeah, he's getting so banged up and he's only 25. He sees the writing on the wall. He's being smart. He's protecting himself. He's protecting his career. He's protecting his team. He's protecting his money. He's protecting himself. And I've been hard on Ja Morant over the years, and I totally respect it. It's the right move. If you want to say there's a problem with the NBA and that it's not Ja Morant's job to fix that. It's not. If you think there's a problem with the NBA, well then that's on the NBA as a whole, not Ja Morant. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Ja Morant trying to avoid dunking now or minimize dunking because of injury risk? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.